What is up, everybody? My name is ExcellentMold, and welcome to Top Fads. Before we jump into today's top countdown, I have just a couple updates. First up, we have some C4 gameplay coming very soon, and we're also going to be covering all the other minor undocumented changes and major changes coming to the game in the update out today. And we're also going to be covering a little bit of the absolutely massive ninja stream featuring Drake and a couple other streamers and rappers, and I really think that you guys are going to like what we have to say about that. But right now, let's jump into today's top countdown, which is, of course, the top 3 Fortnite Battle Royale building materials. With building being such a potent force in Fortnite, especially late game, and really coordinating your team into being an impenetrable defense force, you definitely need to have a good fort. And the best way to do this is knowing what building materials to use and in what ways to get them. So let's start off the countdown at number 3. I don't have any honorable mentions because, of course, this is a only 3 number list. There are no other building resources besides wood, stone, and metal. And speaking of that, let's jump straight into, once again, number 3, which is metal. Now I know what you're thinking. This is absolutely ridiculous. It is arguably the strongest building material, but it's also one of the kind of harder to get building materials, and it's also very slow to construct, and I'll elaborate that very quickly. So, when you build in Fortnite, however much health your building material has, that is going to correlate into the speed at which it is built. So basically, if you're using metal, since that is around, I think it's 600 health, you are going to be building it way slower. The construction time and putting a building together with metal will be really slow because the pieces of the metal come together at a much slower rate than brick and wood. And though you are going to have a lot of health on buildings you build with metal, you're definitely going to need a lot of time to plan it out and make sure that nobody shoots it down before it's even up, because as you know, if you shoot a building right as it's kind of coming into existence, it is going to get destroyed very quickly, especially with explosive weapons, which are very common in late game. I would really recommend metal for very experienced players who know how to quickly construct a base so everything has time to set, and especially if you have a lot of traps, so no one can jump in and raid you. It works really well on metal because a lot of people aren't going to try to directly blow up a metal fort. It takes way too much time, and if you have a good team, they're going to be able to get down and repair that very quickly, so they're probably going to try to ramp raid you if you're using a metal base. Having lots of traps is a great way to avert this crisis, but unfortunately just the speed of building it and the fact that, say, cars and a lot of the RVs, they only give you about 20 metal per car or vehicle, and a lot of the constructions inside of homes that are made of metal don't really give you all that much metal, which is very disappointing because it is admittedly one of the coolest mechanics in the game, is building with metal, because it looks so cool and it's so powerful, but unfortunately it's just not that viable when you get down to it. Now, if you're looking for metal in Fortnite, I've got a couple great places for you to go. First off is Junk Junction in the northwest quadrant of the map. It's a really great place to land. It's right over by Haunted Hills and kind of up towards Pleasant Park, and it's great because it's filled with cars. Tons of cars, metal fences, metal constructs, and a lot of the giant metal shipping containers you can find around the map. There's not a ton of great loot here, although I have found like a scar at least once, and there's usually a decent amount of commons and healing items here. It's really all about the metal. I feel like if you cleared out Junk Junction, you could probably get at least, full metal. It really would not surprise me. Besides that, I would also recommend the shipping yard. If you do not know where that is, I believe it is in between Tomato Town, Retail Row, Dusty Depot, and Lonely Lodge. It's really just in the middle of a whole bunch of the main landing areas, and it's really easy to spot. And once you go there, I've cleared it out, and you get so much metal. It's possible for every single person in your squad to get full metal if you land here. It's just ridiculous, although the trick is not to destroy the stacks of metal boxes from the bottom, because that will destroy all of the ones on top. If you go on top and then mine your way down, you're gonna get so much metal you won't even know what to do with it. It's really ridiculous. And though I know it is not really a great spot to land, but Dusty Depot does have a lot of shipping containers and metal constructs there. You can get a decent amount, and since nobody really lands at Dusty Depot, it makes it a pretty good place to mine for metal. And up next at number 2, we have my personal favorite, which is brick, or stone as it's officially called. I think it's the perfect middle ground between being really quick and easy to build and having a lot of health and offering a ton of protection. And when you come down to it, it's also really all about availability. Trying to get stone is super easy. There are tons of stones located all around the map, and destroying them is pretty easy. They only have about 400 health, much like actual stone constructs. And it's really good because they each give you about 50 stone, which is a lot, especially if you land at a place like Fatal Fields. There are certain little springs around Fatal that just have a ton of these stones that give you 50, and if you destroy the whole little spring area, you can definitely, absolutely 100% max out your stone, which is super useful. And most notably, around Tomato Town and up on the hills of Wailing Woods, kind of by that bridge area, there are a ton of these stones. Destroying them really doesn't take all that much time, and once you do, you just have so much stone you can easily pop up a 1x1 base or a 2x2 base, and it just makes the whole building experience a lot more streamlined because there's just so much ready and available there. I'd almost say that like the entire northeast side of the map just is filled with these stones, and there are a couple on the outskirts of Tilted, but I really wouldn't recommend that because, you know, it's Tilted. There are a couple down by Shifty, and in all honesty, these stones are kind of all around the map, but I believe for the most part, the northeast quadrant of the map is really going to have the most, and then, of course, there are some down kind of by Salty and Fatal Fields, so if you really want stone, go down there. Now, once back to stone itself. Stone is really useful because it builds significantly faster than metal, but a little bit slower than wood. And it does have quite a bit of health. If you build a stone base, a lot of people really aren't going to mess with it because it's kind of perceived as being a little stronger and more durable than wood, and it definitely is. It's not as strong as metal, but it has all the good qualities of wood with the strength kind of metal. It's a perfect middle ground, and if you're really looking at building a good mid-game base, or you're trying to pop up multiple bases at once, I would definitely recommend this. There's nothing I can really recommend for a building strategy, maybe a 1x1, but I've found that that's a little too easy to knock down. If you have a bigger base made of stone, I can guarantee that you're going to make it pretty far into the end game. Just know what to do on the inside, and you should be good and have a great Fortnite Battle Royale experience. And now, on to number 1, the moment you've all been waiting for. The number 1 building material is wood. Now I know what you're thinking, this really doesn't seem like a viable choice, but I can guarantee you that I think this is the best building material in the game, and the reason I think that is it's so easy to get. Think of places like Wailing Woods. There are so many trees there, and destroying them gives you about 40 wood, and you destroy even just a little bit of Wailing Woods, maybe just like 10 or 15 trees, you're gonna get enough wood to get you to the end game and really just to facilitate all of your building needs. Since wood is so easy to get, it's really what people are going to use for smaller bases and trying to defend themselves on the run. And I guarantee you that once you have wood, you're going to find yourself using it to do just about everything, to make little mini huts or mini forts to revive your teammates, to ramp raid people, or to build ramps and houses if you're trying to get up into the roofs, to find treasure chests. It's just universally a very versatile and very creativity requiring building material. When you get down to it, really the limit is the sky with wood. There is basically nothing you can't do with wood and building with wood. I mean, you look around at some of the giant constructs around the map, like the crab and the llama, both made of wood, and it gets really crazy. There's like chairs made of wood, and it really shows that wood is so readily available that you can use it for just about everything, even these crazy building creations. We can also, of course, use it for these combat purposes. Now, it might only have 200 health, but building a really big wood base is enough to scare people. I know when I see a giant wooden base or a really tall one, even if it's not even mixed with any other kind of building material like stone or metal, I'm still really intimidated by it because it's so easily replaceable because people have tons of it, and repairing a wooden surface doesn't take a ton of wood. So it's really easy to just continue repairing the same little part. And this is why on a lot of mountains, if people are making bridges or people are making little ramps to get up the mountain or up into a building and tilted, they're just going to be using wood. It's so readily available. And into that ready availability, let's talk about where you can get it. Obviously, Wailing Woods is going to have an absolute ton of this stuff. It's a giant forest, and in a similar vein, Lonely Lodge and Moisty Mire are both going to have a ton of trees. I'd almost say that the southeast quadrant of the map is going to have the most trees, because then you have Salty, there's a lot of trees around Retail and Fatal, and a lot of the farm areas like Fatal and Anarchy Acres have a ton of trees and plants and hay, and that will actually give you wood. There's so many constructs in this game that give you wood. And another one I would really like to mention is Lucky Landing. The bamboo in Lucky Landing has like 200 health, and yet it gives you around 30 wood, and that really adds up quickly. And that's all I really have to say about wood. It's so easy to get, and yet it's so versatile. It can be used for basically everything in the game, from combat purposes to just building bridges and ramps to get around the map. And I think that's why everybody starts off using wood really early in the game. It might not be great for, really late game because you really need durability there, but even then in late game, you see people using wood to build just about everything. And that is why I truly do believe wood is the most useful building material in all of Fortnite. I love stone and I really like metal, but when you get down to it, wood is unironically the best. Well, that's all for this video, guys, but I would like to let you know we should be streaming tonight, tomorrow night, and throughout the week, because our channel just got the ability to do so on YouTube, which is really awesome, and I hope you guys enjoy seeing us at least attempt to get that victory royale. And like I said, that's all for this video, so don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell button. We're still saving up a little bit to get those V-Buck giveaway opportunities, so if you guys keep on giving us that great feedback about what you like about our videos, we will continue to try and deliver on our promise of free V-Buck giveaways at absolutely no cost to our viewers. So, see you guys tomorrow. Don't forget, we have 24/7 daily uploads, baby. Excellent Mold out.